We're back from our little trip today, and well, just came back a few hours ago, and just wanted to say hi.
Doctors tell the pharmacy.
The revolution wasn't televised in the 60s. Is it going to be televised in the 90s? Well, you know, the catch is what that was all about. The revolution went out and televised. That was about the fact you have to change your mind before you change the way you live.
this said he was the first nothing to talk to anyone since his great-grandfather, Timon the Brave, said hi to a fob. Nearly 100 years since then. Flower.
Ralph, the time has come. The time has come to go out of your mind. Are you ready, Ralph? Are you ready to die and be reborn? No. But first, you must be in a state of grace. First, you must examine yourself in this mirror of confession. What do you see there? Your personality. All your goals and your fears, your little ambitions. The chess game of your life. Take that on a trip with you. on that other side of you, Ralph, that dark unconscious, all those animal impulses which you hide and keep down below. All this baggage, too, must be checked. You can't take that on the billion-year voyage to God. Are you ready? And take this chalice, the elixir of life, the ancient cup, the holy grail, the alchemist's stone, the holy communion, key to immortality.
how different stealing is nowadays. It's not the same anymore. When I was in high school, granted, this jewel was also in a nice area. Like, this wasn't I wasn't sleeping in the trenches, okay? It was just so free. It's different now. I went back to the store as an adult. I went back to this exact store. Dude, it's nuts. They've like 10x the amount of cameras in there. The fucking alarms at the door actually work now. They have employees standing at the door checking. Like, dude, it's just, times have changed, okay? I went into Walmart and stole a fucking DS one time. It had no alarm on it. The lady opened the glass and just handed that bitch to me. Said, meet me at the front. I did not meet her at the front. You can't do that anymore. Times are different, dude. Fuck, I'm pissed about it. Sorry, I'm rambling. Back on topic. So, I walk back in, I grab my bottle of Jack, and I walk the fuck back out. And this is where things really get fun, okay? I go right back to my car, and I remember the sky where, like, you can't even see the sun yet. It's just a blue sky, and it's still cold and wet outside, and the birds are chirping. It was that. I remember that vibe was hitting. That Midwest morning vibe is just unbeatable, man. But I fucking walked into the store, and I just knew deep down I was getting my vibe multiplied in a moment here, because I walked straight into the alcohol section, and I grabbed myself a fucking bottle. It was a bottle of Jack Daniels, which this was like my fucking, I don't care anymore, alcohol.
Scuffle at the Columbus Day Parade in Newark. Among those arrested for blocking a fire lane, Native American activist Del Redclay called the protest an unqualified success. Elsewhere, a blind river rafter is going to get her wish after suing for a place in the Colorado River.
I should have been there. I should have been.
Scuffle at the Columbus Day Parade in Newark. Among those arrested for blocking a fire lane.
laboratory, it is possible to dispense with part of the normal life cycle. Conillia are produced by a mycelium which is grown under sterile conditions from the sclerotia. A sclerotium is washed, surface sterilized, and rinsed. Now soft enough to cut easily, sections are placed on a nutrient medium in petri dishes. After suitable incubation, a mycelium begins to grow. Ergot to be perpetuated, and they ensure a heavy and satisfactory crop.
What if I told you that you could make a pigeon superstitious? You can, and I'm going to explain to you how. To explain how I'll make a pigeon superstitious, I'd have to explain 4 things to you. The first would be what operant conditioning is. The second would be what a Skinner box is. The third would be what a reward schedule is. And then the fourth will be applications to pigeons. The fifth will be applications to ourselves, to explain how you make people superstitious as well. So what is operant conditioning? Operant conditioning is what psychologists call training, or any activity in which you encourage a kind of behavior or discourage another kind of behavior. The principles of operant conditioning are fairly straightforward. They involve either a reinforcement or a punishment, and either giving something or taking something away. If something encourages behavior, it's called reinforcement. Whether you give something or take something away to encourage behavior, that's reinforcement. Then you can understand what operant conditioning does in terms of rewards and punishment and giving and taking. Today, we'll be talking about positive reinforcement, because that's what we'll be using in the Skinner box. So what is a Skinner box? A Skinner box is a way that you can train an animal, normally, to do something that you want. It follows the same rules of operant conditioning, except that it's a very controlled environment where we know exactly what we'll be giving the animal and exactly what the animal wants, and exactly what behaviors the animal will do before we give them the reward. To make this work, the way Skinner did it, was to starve the pigeon to 75% of its body weight when it was normally fed. That way we knew it was a very hungry pigeon, that it really wanted food. After that, all you have to do is reward the pigeon every time it does something you want. If the pigeon pushes a lever, you give it a food pellet. If the pigeon hops or turns around in a circle, you give it a food pellet. Any behavior you want to engender in the pigeon can be encouraged by giving it that food pellet, and you know it wants the food pellets because it's very, very hungry. That's how you use positive reinforcement on a pigeon. But there's another kind of reward schedule that's not really a reward schedule at all, and this is called a non-contingent reward schedule. Now what does that mean? It means exactly what it sounds like, non-contingent, meaning it's entirely unrelated to anything you've actually done. Do you own any Lucky Charms? Is there a pendant that you carry with you? Is there a whistle that you blow at your favorite sports games? Do you pray? Do you try any kind of homeopathic medicine or any kind of crystal or alternative medicine? To be honest, we've done scientific tests on all of these things, and we found that none of them actually had any effect on anything in the outside world. There is simply no relationship between doing these activities and getting the rewards you hope for. What this means is that the pigeon believes that whatever it happened to be doing just before it got the pellet was the reason that it got the pellet. It made that link because one followed the other, that one must have caused the other. So what did that mean in practical terms for B.S. Skinner? That meant that he could say very specific actions were being performed by pigeons in order to get more pellets, even though these actions had nothing to do with the pellets. One pigeon would develop kind of a tossing motion. One pigeon would hop on one foot. One pigeon would turn around in circles. So you could get pigeons doing little pellet dances, much the same way people would do rain dances. And these pigeons seemed to really believe that this was the cause of the pellets. And they would keep doing this behavior, of course, until they got another pellet. But it did seem as though the pigeon had decided, this hopping on one foot is what gets me the pellet. And I'm going to keep hopping on one foot until I got another pellet. Now this works because eventually a pellet will come. And even though it had nothing to do with hopping on one leg, this is not something the pigeon will ever realize because it will keep hopping until it gets another one. And that's how you get a pigeon to be superstitious. How does that translate to people? Well, humans happen to be in Skinner boxes all the time. Gave you the example of the gambler who kept putting the coin into the machine. So what happens to us when we mistake non-contingent reward schedules for variable ratio reward schedules? Then we become superstitious as well. Why do rain dances work? Because they dance until it rains. Because they dance until it rains.